My name is Erica and I designed this application for COPE. I included this sitemap so that you can see that even at the furthest child page, the user is never more than 2 clicks away from home. This was designed very purposefully because the most vulnerable communities during COVID-19 is the older generation, and I wanted to create an app for them that had a very minimal learning curve and was straightforward, to the point, and practical. This sitemap is a concise overview of what my application consists of. This is the application homepage. You'll see that each of the 4 requirements is a separate button. Each button features a relevant graphic, but it's also labeled. Based on my research into app design for the older generation, the labeling of buttons is fundamental for ease of use. I employ color, graphic, and text to ensure that the user is entirely aware of the app's functionalities. The colors chosen throughout the application are representative of Highland Park itself. You'll also notice the emergency button below. That is a 2-step button to call the Highland Park Police Department in the case of any emergency. Because the app is intended for use during a health crisis, I felt an emergency line was an important feature. Now I've created a user info section, which is a profile where the user fills in their information, and that way it's auto-filled throughout the app. This takes away the labor of constantly filling out the information, and some of this information can be very beneficial to the COPE volunteers to know in the case of any miscommunication or emergency. Clicking Save to exit the page is just so the user doesn't lose anything that they were working on. Well Calls is a user-side approach to daily communication with COPE staff. This setup serves as a reminder for the user to reach out instead of putting the user on a wait list and calling them at any time of day. The user has the option to opt out of the calls and instead write out their daily communication as a direct message to the staff. And I gamified it a little with the faces so that their message has some level of emotional context. Next is the transportation page. You'll notice that with visual hierarchy and color, I've ensured that the user knows they have to make transportation appointments 48 hours ahead of schedule. The address here is auto-filled, but makes the user confirm anyways because the origin address is vital for transportation. Information included is destination address, mandatory arrival time, number of passengers, and what kind of appointment the user is being transported to. Upon submission, the user will get a confirmation email, and then closer to the date, they'll get a call to confirm all the details. For social support, I've created a matchmaking buddy system. Once you input your email, auto-filled but changeable if a different email is preferred, a staff side generator randomly selects another user who has signed up. Notice the recommendation at the bottom for alternate ways to stay social using digital means. If the data log doesn't have a selection for you yet, you'll get this buffer page that says sit tight. Once another user is selected, you get a match notification, which gives you their first name, profile picture, and email. This information is also sent to your email for safekeeping. If you want another buddy, you just have to click Buddy Me again. Delivery is a really important feature on this app. There are 2 types of potential deliveries: delivery of goods like food, essential items, etc., and delivery of medication. Now, for general shopping, click there and you have 3 options. Option 1 is to type up your list in-app. It's a very simple, straightforward design. Your other 2 options are to take a picture of the shopping list that you wrote down, which is really easy to do, or the most accessible option, to voice record your shopping list. This option is accessible for those with sight disabilities, and including it is fundamental to ensuring that all users have access to this app. In development, including a text reader for all app functions would be preferable. The medication request form is flipped in design because the information required is critical and has little room for error. So to make the text as large and as readable as possible, I flipped the form. That way, there are only 3 questions per page, making it really easy to ensure no mistakes. The notice on the bottom includes a phone number to help fill out the information in the form if necessary. The next and previous buttons make checking your work simple. Submitting brings you back to the delivery where you can click Submit Your Request and a confirmation modal pops up with instructions. I really kept the vulnerable population of Highland Park in mind when creating this app because I wanted it to be as accessible as it is necessary. Easy navigation, large fonts, and all the design principles incorporated are intentional. This app is intended for both mobile and tablet, which is the preferred choice for a lot of the older population, and you can see how simple the whole design really is. Thank you for following along and stay safe.